Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah. A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Flying with the Foam on HGN. And for today's blaster that I'll be talking about here in Flying with the Foam, well, I figure today's the day. Doomlands gets coming in. So, here's my little personal invitation. Simply put, this one is a smaller blaster in the Doomlands series itself. But this one in particular does happen to have a lot of things that I pretty much like about it. And it also has a few new innovations that seem to be probably one of the most common traits to ever include in a traditional Nerf blaster design nowadays. This one is the Persuader. Basically a more compact, smaller variant of the Lawbringer, which was in fact one of the first ever Doomlands blasters to be brought in. But this one's basically just a smaller sized one. And it comes with a different barrel design, more or less. So, of course, this blaster in general has its simple sort of hammer priming, as well as 4 barrels to load 4 darts in. Got rolled under the couch, apparently. But that's not really that important, because after all, there really is a lot that I do have to talk about this in general. The design itself, I'd say, is fairly consistent with what the Doomlands series has managed to offer us. Doomlands 2169 is simply put just a story of a dystopian sort of future, way deep into the future, well over 100 years from now. And of course, the main story about it is that deep into this future, these are the kind of weapons that you might actually find out there. And I gotta say, for a dystopian future sort of concept out there, that's very akin to some films out there, like Blade Runner, District 9, or probably even The Hunger Games, in a way. Except that wasn't necessarily more of a dystopian future-related sort of thing. It didn't really look much like a future that many of us would envision. But I could say for sure that this one in particular does seem to have a lot of interesting quirks and the like, including a trademark of pretty much every Doomlands blaster we have out there. Clear plastic on one side, so that way you can see how the internals function. Some people out there, they're not necessarily big fans just looking at how a blaster works, because, well, that would kind of ruin the purpose of being able to take it apart and modify it. Hundreds of people out there, even to this day, happen to take apart most blasters and just try their hand at something new every time they want to go ahead and bring out a modification to this thing in particular. And I gotta say, there really is a lot that they're probably going for when it comes to equipping something like this. I do like this trademark though, clear plastic, for us to be able to see what's inside of the blaster. Pretty much it's just a shortcut to being able to see what's on the inside without having to actually take it apart. But in general, I could just say, from my own perspective, that, well, this blaster really does do pretty well. It only holds 4 darts, but whatever. It's just fine by me. Well, that's pretty much all I got to talk about here in Flying with the Foam here on HJN. But if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.